Narcissists are driven by this deep, almost insatiable desire to feel important, special, and admired. Because of this, they often go through people like they go through phases. They'll latch onto someone, drain them of their energy, attention, and admiration, and then move on when they feel like they're no longer getting the same level of validation. In their minds, everyone is replaceable. If you're no longer useful to them, they'll discard you and find someone else to fill that role. But here's the thing, you aren't actually replaceable. Narcissists think they can just move on from people without consequences. But what happens when they meet someone who they just can't replace? There comes a moment when even the most self-absorbed narcissist realizes that they've lost someone truly unique, someone who brought real value into their life. And that's when things get interesting. At first, after a breakup or when the relationship starts falling apart, a narcissist will probably act like they're totally fine. They'll pretend that they've already moved on or that they're in complete control of the situation. They might post on social media, make it seem like their life is fantastic, or even start dating someone new just to prove how easily they can replace you. But this is all just a performance. They don't want you or anyone else to know that they're struggling. What's happening behind the scenes is very different. Narcissists have a fragile sense of self, and their ego is built on the admiration and validation they receive from others. When you walk away or stop feeding into their need for constant attention, they're forced to confront the emptiness inside them. They don't like this feeling, so they'll go on the hunt for a replacement, someone who can fill that void, even temporarily. But not everyone is replaceable. If you were someone who genuinely cared for them, who invested time and effort into the relationship, or who challenged them in ways that made them uncomfortable but helped them grow, you've left a mark on them. And as much as they hate to admit it, they're going to start feeling the loss. They'll try to replicate the dynamic they had with you, but it won't work because the connection they had with you was unique. At first, they might not even recognize that they're missing something. Narcissists are so focused on themselves that they often don't realize how much they depend on others until those people are gone. They'll go through the motions, thinking they can just move on, but slowly reality starts to sink in. The new people they surround themselves with aren't offering the same depth, the same emotional investment, or the same understanding. The narcissist is left feeling empty because what they had with you can't be easily replaced. This is when the cracks in their confident facade start to show. They might start reaching out to you again, testing the waters to see if they can still get some form of validation from you. They'll use tactics like sending a casual message, liking your social media posts, or even acting like they're just checking in on you. But don't be fooled. This is their way of trying to regain control. When they realize they can't replace you, they'll often try to pull you back into their orbit, hoping you'll continue to give them the attention they crave. However, the more you stay firm and don't fall into their traps, the more the narcissist begins to panic. It's a gradual process, but over time, they realize that not only have they lost you, but they've lost the one person who truly saw them for who they are. Narcissists like to live in a world of illusions where they control the narrative, but you were someone who saw through that. You saw their vulnerabilities, their flaws, and maybe even parts of themselves they didn't want to acknowledge. This realization is devastating for a narcissist because they hate being exposed. When they finally recognize that they can't replace you, they're forced to confront the fact that they've lost someone who made a real difference in their life. This moment is when their self-confidence starts to crumble. They may try to inflate their ego by seeking out other relationships or distractions, but it won't be the same. That emptiness they're trying to fill just keeps growing because no one else can replicate the connection they had with you. The moment a narcissist knows they can't replace you is a moment of reckoning for them. It's when they realize that their strategy of discarding people and moving on doesn't always work. For someone who thrives on control, this realization is deeply unsettling. It can lead to narcissistic rage, where they lash out in anger because they feel vulnerable and exposed. They might blame you, accuse you of being the reason the relationship failed, or try to tear you down in an attempt to regain power. But don't fall for it. Their anger is just a mask for their own feelings of inadequacy. Alternatively, some narcissists might go into a state of depression or self-pity. They'll start playing the victim, acting like they're the ones who were wronged, and hoping that by doing so, they can manipulate you into feeling sorry for them. It's a last-ditch effort to get you back under their control, but again, it's all part of their manipulative tactics. They don't actually want to change or grow from the experience. They just want the comfort of having you back in their life. But here's where your power comes in. When a narcissist realizes they can't replace you, they're forced to face the consequences of their behavior. They're no longer in control, and that's a huge blow to their ego. By walking away and staying strong, you've shown them that you won't tolerate their manipulation or mistreatment. You've reclaimed your own sense of worth, and that's something a narcissist can't take away from you. While the narcissist is left dealing with the fallout of losing someone they can't replace, you're free to move forward with your life. This is the ultimate victory, not because you sought revenge or wanted to hurt them, but because you chose yourself. You chose to protect your peace, your happiness, and your well-being. And that's something no narcissist can ever take away.